Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Ex-Raiders starting CB lands contract with Steelers. The Las Vegas Raiders signed Anthony Averett ahead of the 2022 season in hopes that he could be a dependable starter. He was only able to start in 6 games that season as injuries derailed his year. He hasn't played an NFL game since, but that could change this season. The Pittsburgh Steelers announced on May 12 that they've signed Averett to a contract. The Steelers should have some familiarity with Averett as he played for their rival Baltimore Ravens for 4 seasons. Pittsburgh consistently has a strong defense under head coach Mike Tomlin, but their group of cornerbacks is very young. Averett and Dante Jackson are the only 2 on the roster who have played more than 1 season. Averett spent some time with the San Francisco 49ers and Detroit Lions last season but didn't take a single regular season snap. That should change with the Steelers this season if he's able to make the roster. The Raiders have been suspiciously laid back when it comes to adding a cornerback this offseason. It was considered one of the team's biggest positions of need, but they haven't signed a single notable veteran to the group. The team also waited until the 4th round to draft one. That could be due to the fact that there are still some very good cornerbacks left in free agency. Xavier Howard and Adoree Jackson have both played under defensive coordinator Patrick Graham before and would be easy fits. Stephon Gilmore is 33 now, but has proven he's still an impact cornerback. There are notable cornerbacks like Patrick Peterson and Steven Nelson still available. If the Raiders aren't thrilled with what they have at cornerback right now, they do have plenty of options. However, the team may wait a little longer to see what they have in some of their young players. The Raiders used a 4th-round pick to add Decamerion Richardson, and while he's very athletic, he's a bit raw. That may not stop him from seeing significant playing time as a rookie. Chad Reuter of NFL.com listed Richardson as a Day 3 player who could get starting snaps as a rookie. The Raiders' cornerback group was inconsistent last season and lacks size, so it was a natural fit for the 6'2" Richardson to land in Las Vegas, Reuter wrote in a May 8 column. His sub-4.4 speed is another bonus at 188 pounds, and though he possesses only average short area agility, his physical play against larger outside receivers will be useful as he grows into a larger role over the course of the season. The Raiders went into last season with rookie Jacorian Bennett as a starter, so Graham isn't opposed to giving a young player a chance. It still seems a bit risky if the team is hoping to make a playoff run. There are a lot of great quarterbacks in the AFC right now, and relying on young cornerbacks rarely works. It's hard to imagine the Raiders won't add a veteran cornerback this offseason, but Richardson seeing the football field a lot as a rookie seems likely. Terrible towel tales, Treylon Burks tabbed as WR Steelers will land. The formal or informal chats between representatives of NFL teams and draft prospects at the annual combine can span from the spectrum of mundane, awkward, bizarre, informative, conversational, and enlightening. This past winter, more than one soon-to-be drafted player found one topic in particular piqued the mutual interest of him and the team. Everybody that I've talked to, Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker Peyton Wilson said of team management types during the combine, really loves that I was a wrestler and that I was a state champion wrestler. According to Pro Football Network's Dallas Robinson, Pittsburgh is the best fit and a possible option for Burks. At 6'2" and 225 pounds, Burks has the size to line up on the outside opposite George Pickens, Robinson wrote. Pittsburgh took low-cost free agent flyers on Van Jefferson and Quez Watkins this offseason, but the league probably knows what those veterans are capable of. Burks is a little more tantalizing and could offer untapped upside for the Steelers. The first is Jonathan Ward. The former Arizona Cardinal and Tennessee Titan impressed during both days of camp, showing off his speed and power during individual drills. Eddie Faulkner even called him old hands at one point, following a pass-blocking drill where Ward nearly pushed the RB coach into the next field. Steelers pegged as potential landing spot for Kirk Cousins in 2025. The Pittsburgh Steelers just went through the craziest offseason behind center, perhaps in the franchise's history. But that doesn't mean there won't be any more drama. A scenario exists where quarterback Kirk Cousins, who pundits connected to the Steelers this offseason, could find his way to Pittsburgh. ESPN's Bill Barnwell suggested the Atlanta Falcons could move on from Cousins after 2024 for number 8 overall pick Michael Penix Jr. Should that occur, the Steelers are a possible fit for Cousins. The other potential landing spots appear to be with the Raiders, Steelers, and Titans, none of whom have a settled quarterback of the future, wrote Barnwell on May 8. The Giants, Jets, Saints, Seahawks, and even the Dolphins could also be in the market for a veteran starter. If Cousins plays well in 2024 and both he and the Falcons want to split, there will be a market for him next year. Cousins signed a 4-year, $180 million deal with Atlanta this offseason. But the Falcons drafted Penix with their first-round pick, and he will turn 25 next May. There will likely be urgency from the organization to switch to Penix behind center before the end of his second season. That could push Cousins to finish his career elsewhere. The Steelers added both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields this offseason, but neither quarterback is under contract beyond 2024. A lot of things will have to happen for a Cousins-Steelers union to occur. But it's not out of the realm of possibilities. Cousins has a full no-trade clause, which means he can force the franchise to pay him that $100 million over 2 years before moving on to Penix for the 2026 season, wrote Barnwell. Naturally, while Cousins might not want to move on to another city after just landing in Atlanta, the veteran might also not want to sit in 2025 behind Penix if the Falcons are ready to move on. Barnwell explained that the Falcons could actually save $2.5 million if they traded Cousins after the 2024 season. Atlanta would have a $37.5 million cap hit in dead money and would have paid Cousins $62.5 million for only 1 season. But the Falcons wouldn't be on the hook for the remaining $37.5 million in guarantees. This is the only logical scenario for the Falcons to move on from Cousins after 2024. Barnwell wrote that if they simply release the veteran quarterback next spring, the Falcons will have a $65 million dead cap charge over the 2025 and 2026 seasons. The team will have also paid Cousins $90 million for 1 season. So, ironically, for the Falcons to move on from Cousins after 2024, he will have to play well this season. If he does, he could be a potential trade target for a team needing a quarterback. The Steelers could be a team in search of a signal caller again next offseason if Wilson and Fields do not excel. Neither is signed for the 2025 campaign, and if both struggle as Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky did last season, then it's logical to think the Steelers will start over again at quarterback next year. While there's a path to Cousins becoming Pittsburgh's 2025 starting quarterback, that doesn't mean it's likely. Part of why the Steelers broke tradition and used free agency to add quarterbacks is because Wilson and Fields were very cheap. Wilson signed for $1.2 million, while Fields cost just a conditional 6th-round pick in a trade. In the scenario Barnwell proposed, Cousins will be coming off a strong season, which will drive up his trade price. Cousins could also have a lot of suitors. Barnwell floated 9 teams as possibilities for the veteran quarterback next year. And although the Steelers have questions behind center beyond 2024, it's clear that the team plans to make Wilson and/or Fields a multi-year investment. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's Jerry Dulac reported on March 16 that the Steelers intend to do a longer deal with Wilson at the end of the season. On May 2, the Steelers declined Fields' 5th-year option. However, that was expected. On April 24, Dulac said on the Stephen Jones Show that he expects Fields to receive a 2-year contract extension perhaps even before the 2024 season begins. If either Wilson or Fields is signed to a new deal, the Steelers will no longer be a fit for Cousins. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Kirk Cousins? Leave your opinion in the comments.